How do we manage forests in a changing climate while dealing with all of these threats and stressors that they face? I'm Ethan Tapper. I'm a forester, ecologist, content creator, and best-selling author from Vermont, and it's my honor to partner with the Woodland Partnership of Northwestern Massachusetts to visit some of these amazing, beautiful, resilient forests in Northwestern Mass, and to showcase the amazing organizations and the people that care for them. For this video, I visited the Notchview parcel owned by the Trustees, which is more than 3,000 acres. And on this parcel, where they're also managing for recreation and a number of cultural benefits, they're doing some really innovative forest management. This includes building a slash wall that's meant to protect areas from the really devastating ecological impacts of an overpopulation of white-tailed deer. And at the same time, they're employing a number of different approaches to both make their forest more diverse and resilient, and also to do research to better understand how we can manage forests in a changing climate. And in this video, we talk about assisted migration, assisted range expansion, enrichment planting, deer herbivory, and more. Without further ado, check out my visit to the Notchview parcel in Windsor, Mass. We're here in Windsor, Massachusetts at the Notchview parcel owned by the Trustees, and we're here on the site of another forest management project. This forest management project included this 12-acre area protected by a slash wall. It's a way of creating a deer exclosure. Instead of metal fencing, it's created out of trees. This is an area that was managed about 1 year ago, and already we're seeing a pretty dramatic difference between the trees and the plants inside of that slash wall and the ones outside of it. And the only difference between these two areas is that one area is protected from deer browse and the other area is not. So this area was harvested just over a year ago. And right here, I'm surrounded by this species, pin cherry. Pin cherry is this amazing species, a seed that can pass through the body of a bird or another animal, remain viable but ungerminated in the seed bank of the soil for 100 years. When they sense a disturbance, they sprout. And so what we're seeing here is this incredibly robust response of this native cherry. And in addition to that, the trustees have supplemented it with these planted climate adapted species like oaks. We're mostly not doing what's called assisted migration, where we're taking totally new species that don't exist here and bringing them to the north. For now, what we're mostly doing is what's called assisted range expansion. We take a species of tree that is at the northern end of its range, and then we increase its representation at that northern end of its range. So oaks and hickories are species that we consider to be climate adapted and that are projected to do better than some of our other tree species as our climate changes. What we're also doing is we're not planting every tree, we're doing what's called an enrichment planting. We're still mobilizing the profound regenerative capacity of our forest, their ability to create this new generation of native tree species, as we're seeing begin all around me. But then we're enriching that regeneration with these young oaks and hickories. Really, a version of this is applicable everywhere across the landscape. It's about doing what we can at the same time that we recognize that forests are amazing. And we want to actually really help them be themselves. While this area inside of the slash wall is ostensibly mostly about recruiting regeneration, this new generation of trees that we're trying to grow, there is also an area of what we call retention, an area of trees that have been retained here, which is neat in a bunch of different ways. Having trees and areas of existing trees within areas of younger forest actually enriches that younger forest because it provides a little bit of cover and perch sites and stuff like that for critters that may not feel totally comfortable in the young forest, but may want to utilize the young forest, like birds that may perch in an area of established forest and then forage in the younger forest. It models the approach we want to take with our forests in a changing climate, which is that it's not as simple as that we think these tree species, oaks and hickories, are going to be better suited to our forest in the future, and so we go and get rid of everything that's not an oak or a hickory. It's much more complex. Here is this area where we have this really unique spruce fir forest community in northwestern Massachusetts, and the spruce is doing really well, providing all of these totally unique habitats. At the same time that we think about the future, we also are thinking about retaining these values that make this forest so special. This is a common theme in a lot of the work that we're doing, especially to try and manage forests in light of a changing climate, where we both have to deal with these very serious threats that forests face in this moment, like deer overpopulation, but that we're also trying to innovate. One of the things that we think about when we do this is creating a forest that is more resilient, so a forest that is better equipped to withstand all of these threats and stressors, but then also a forest which is more adaptive, that has different pathways that it can take as conditions change. We're giving this forest more tools in its toolkit to be able to remain a healthy, diverse forest. Climate change and global change, which is this sort of broader concept that is inclusive of all of the things that are happening to forests and other ecosystems at this moment, that is not going to affect forests as simply as just it gets warmer and tree species of warmer climates do better here now. It's actually this incredibly complex process that we need to approach in this really, really nuanced way. And so what we have here is a diversity of different approaches, even within this one area, to dealing with all of these different ecological challenges. And there's a lot of people here, like the trustees and these other organizations that we're visiting with here in Northwestern Massachusetts, that are trying to figure out these problems. And they're employing not just one approach, but a diversity of different approaches across a diversity of different forests to see if we can attain all of these values that we need to sustain our forests and our biodiversity and these robust working landscapes in light of uncertain conditions and changing conditions.